Welcome to the Metal Bob Live Podcast. I am your host, Metal Bob. Today's show is brought to you by Legend Picks. That's LEGENDPICKS.com. Visit Legend Picks for all your custom guitar pick needs. And also artist Jeremiah Kalleck. You can find him on Instagram at JJKALLECK. There you can find his art, videos, and more. Links to our sponsors are listed in the episode description. On today's show, I had the honor of speaking with vocalist Todd Poole of the band Roxy Blue. We talk about their latest release, and Todd also tells a couple great stories. So sit back, have a listen, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello, Todd.
What's up?
How are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, actually. Just got me some good food. It took me 2 hours at the grocery store to get what I needed and to feed the family, and I'm nice and full and ready to talk rock and roll.
Right on, man. It's good to hear. So,
how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. Can't complain, man. Just staying.
Where are you at?
I am out of Missouri.
I got you. So it's kind of crazy everywhere right now.
Yes, sir, it is.
I was just telling my wife, it's just strange, man, walking into, going in the store, and it's just every day is getting crazier and crazier. Everybody's wearing a mask now, and I was walking through there thinking, man, this is weird, you know?
I feel you. I had that same experience yesterday. We were at the store, and I'm just looking around watching everybody, and it's just kind of a interesting thing we're going through right now.
Yeah, man, it is. It's crazy interesting in a way, you know. I mean, all of my friends, my musician friends, you know, of course, we had a bunch of shows postponed, and hopefully they don't get canceled. And we're all wondering if there's even going to be another show before the end of the year. We do have one planned, but you just never know if it's going to get canceled. You don't know how long it's going to last. And then I ask myself, will it ever be the same again? You know, and I think that's you have to ask yourself, are we going to go back to where people are going to feel comfortable? You know, you hope that they are, because, you know, I think everybody wants to get back out there and have a good time, and hopefully that's the case. And but I think this whole thing's just put a paranoia in everybody, and it's, you know, it's crazy. And for musicians, I mean, for everybody it's crazy, but for musicians, you know, that's how we do our thing, is to get out, and or any entertainers is to get out in front of people, and the whole thing is about getting everybody together and have a good time. So I guess the best we can do now is write and record and hope that we can get that out there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it has been a very interesting time right now, and that's the big thing. We don't know how long this is going to last, and I think that's the part that's got everybody on edge.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess things will happen the way they're supposed to happen, and you know, in the meantime, it gives you a lot of time to. I know me as a songwriter, I mean, I'm always constantly writing anyway, but I mean, it's, you know, downtime, and I mean, I still stay busy. A lot hasn't changed in my life as far as, well, I mean, it has as far as going out and playing. We've had to, you know, like I said, you know, we had to postpone a bunch of shows. Our management and BLE is the Bradley Entertainments who we're with, and they're just, you know, it started with the Ballroom Blitz show we had with Last in Line, Tora. I mean, you name it, they were on the bill, and that whole thing's been moved to October. And we're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll be able to do that. It's 50-50 now to me, whether that'll happen. Actually had a show planned here in our hometown, Memphis, which we don't play that much. It was an outdoor rock festival right around the Memphis in May deal, Music Fest. That's been postponed. We haven't gotten the official word whether ours has or not, but pretty much everything. Like, they got everything around here. I know right across the line in Mississippi, everything's on lockdown. So they're kind of that way in Tennessee right now. And so, yeah, it's just crazy. But, you know, I've tried to utilize my time a little bit. And, you know, of course, I've already been writing songs for the next Frontiers release, Roxy Blue, and I'm super excited about it because, I mean, it's man, it's some really good stuff, and I got pumped up about it, and you know, I'll tell you something that's just crazy. So I do most of my writing in my Tahoe, and I've always done a lot of my writing in my car or my truck or whatever I'm driving, and it's just my sanctuary, man, and it's just where I'm by myself, you know. I can think and be stupid and be goofy and yell and sing and whatever I got to do, and I always put it down on my recorder on my phone, you know, just like the ideas.
Right.
Then I go back and I kind of, you know, revisit them and then sit down with my guitar, and if I write something that's too hard for me to play, I'll call Jeff up. You know, I got something, man, I need you to play. But man, a crazy thing happened a couple of weeks ago. I don't know whatever I was doing. My phone went dead. So I was going to try to charge it up. I plugged my charger in, and I was busy doing something else. So I was just thinking, no big deal. And it had something saying something on there, and I didn't even pay attention. And it just said reset, and I didn't even think about it. And I pushed reset, and it just erased everything. So, well, pretty much everything. So I had like 14 song ideas and some kind of completed that I kind of demoed a little bit live, you know, with my guys. And I know me and Wayne Sweeney had written a couple. Me and him still get together and write. And Wayne, if people don't know, was Saliva. He and I are the ones that started Saliva. And so, but those stayed. So out of all those songs, I think I got 5 or 6 of them that stayed on the phone in my files, and luckily enough, with this crazy brain of mine, I was kind of gone through the other ones enough to where I'd kind of learned them and kind of worked them out a little bit, so they weren't totally lost. I was able to recover those in my head and redo them, which was cool. That made me feel good. Of course, I did lose a few little ideas here and there, but, you know, I got so many, it's no big deal. And on top of that, I was talking to the guys a little bit about possibly doing maybe releasing an EP, an acoustic EP, not through Frontiers. Maybe just us, just to release it on our own. They normally like to do full-blown records. Usually 11 songs or whatnot, you know, and so I just thought maybe it'd be a kind of a change of pace, just kind of do maybe a cover song, and then maybe a song from the Want Some record that we never play, and then maybe a song from the latest Roxy Blue record, the self-titled, and then maybe a couple new songs. You know, I don't know. We're kind of still. I've got some acoustic songs that I really dig that I don't know that I put on a full blown record, a hard record or whatever. So it gives it's just a different outlet for us as a band and the people to kind of the fans and stuff to kind of get a different look at the band. And so yeah, I mean, this time just kind of it makes you think a lot, you know. So,
right.
You know, in my case, I got to keep from thinking too much because I get too many ideas and I don't have enough time to get them all. So.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of, you know, your last effort, it's been out probably 8 months now, but the self-titled Roxy Blue, congratulations on that. Yeah, it has.
Man. I guess it has been about 8 months. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on that. It's a great record, man. Got some great songs on there. Blinders is one of my favorites. Scream's great. Rockstar, all them songs are awesome, man. So congratulations on that.
Man, thank you so much, man. And that means a lot to me that you like Blinders. Jimmy Fault, who co-produced the record and recorded it for us, he and I did the record and pretty much in the studio. That's his favorite. And it's crazy. That song I wrote about. My father passed away about 4 years ago, so it hadn't been that long when I wrote the song, a couple of years or whatever. And I remember I'd already written, like, I didn't really write it to be on a record at first. You know, if the words pretty much paint the picture of exactly what was happening. You know, here I lie awake at night, the TV screen's the only light. That was actually what I was doing. I was just thinking. And I just lost my dad, and I was pretty much it was just a weird time, and it wasn't really meant to be a sad song, but it's just, I wrote it down, I picked up, what had happened is Jimmy and I played in a band called 714 together, and Jimmy has actually been playing drums with Roxy now a little bit, so he had come up to me, we were writing some songs, it was a little while back, and I had this idea on guitar. Didn't really have much to it, but we were rehearsing, kind of messing around with some stuff one day, and he said, "You remember that guitar deal you did on acoustic?" And he got a guitar and he played it for me. I'm like, "Oh man, yeah, I remember that. I forgot all about that." He said, "You should do something with that. You were singing a melody, but I don't remember any words you did." So anyway, I kind of put it down, and when all that happened, I was actually sitting in my room one night, and TV was on, man. And, I had the TV on, and it's like nothing was happening around me. I was so zoned in to thinking about what had just happened in my life and to my father. And I had never lost a parent. My mom's still around, thank God. And my dad had battled Parkinson's for 16 years, and then he lost his battle with it, and it haunted me, man. It really did. So I just kind of wrote those lyrics down, and I remember that night I wrote the lyrics. Wrote down some lyrics, and it was just in my head, and I just went over and picked up my acoustic and started playing that riff that Jimmy had reminded me that I had written, and I just started singing it. And there it went. There it became Blinders, man. That I wrote the song and went to the guys and said, "Hey, man, remember what you were talking to me about? Let me play this for you and see what you think." And then, of course, it turned into be Jimmy's favorite song on the record. And so thank you so much for saying that. Song is very dear to my heart. They all are, but that one has a special place for me. So.
Yeah, it's great, man. Like I said, that was the one that got my attention. I mean, like you said, they're all great songs, but that one got my attention. It's a great song.
Well, I appreciate it. And that song actually, I guess it speaks to a lot of people. And as a songwriter, that's what you hope more than anything, is that it actually emotionally touches someone. And I've gotten some emails and some messages on Facebook and Messenger from people that were like, I know one guy was like, "Dude, man, my best friend was my dog, and he passed away, and I just couldn't deal with it, and that song helped me get through it." And I had a girl say that her mother passed away, and it was just, just people doing that kind of stuff. And I know there was somebody on there that said that they were separated from their family, and then they lived in another country and they couldn't get back to them, and that song helped them kind of. And I just, man, that's where it hits. When you write a song, you're like, man, I wrote something that helped somebody, and man, that means a lot to me. And I'm sure it's all songwriters. I was talking to a friend of mine in the studio the other night from the band. A friend of mine named Lance McDaniel plays in the band called Shotgun Billies. Very good band. And he wanted me to come in and sing on their new record, and we were talking about that, and talking about, how just being able to write something that means something, and what is the payoff, and especially these days, man, it's, as well as I do. I'm sure you've been around music pretty much your whole life, or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. So the music business it's just changed. Everything's changed. It's a whole other world out there right now. So what do you do for a different reason now? I think you do it all. I know I do it for a different reason than I used to.
Right.
I used to want to be a rock star, I gotta get out of here, man, and be a ham, and that was my big deal, man. I just wanted to I would love to entertain, and I think I was younger, and I think everybody probably, I would imagine a lot of people and musicians go through this, in anything. You grow, you get older, you get wiser, and then things have different meaning to you. And in my situation, I think I was so caught up. Well, when Roxy Blue first came out and we got signed to Geffen, I mean, it was a whirlwind, dude. I mean, we were signed to Tom Zutaut and Geffen Records, which Guns N' Roses, and then he signed Motley Crue to Elektra. I mean, it was a big guy, you know. And then Mike Klink was producing, you know, Guns N' Roses, Heart, you name it, he's done it. And then, you know, of course, Doug Thaler, Motley Crue's management. So it was just overwhelming for us. But we were caught up in it, man. We were really caught up in it. We got to meet and became friends with a lot of people that, you know, that were big rock stars that, you know, just became buddies, you know, and so we were just caught up in it, man. And you have a tendency not to really soak in what's really going on, and you just kind of live in the moment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but the older I've gotten, I'm more in touch with the actual meaning of the whole thing. So what do I do it for now? I do it for the complete love of playing music, not expecting anything on the other side of the fence. You know what I mean? There's no expectation. As long as I write a song and make a record that is meaningful and believable to me, I do have enough respect for the listener and the fans to realize they're not idiots and that they can see through anything that's fake and BS. So, and which brings up, you know, when we made this new record, I wrote the last record. We're trying to do a little bit more together on the new record, you know, and, you know, we're the guys are, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, I've always been one that wrote a lot. Back in the day, me and Sid did a lot of the writing, but it took all four of the guys to make it sound like it sounded. Kind of the same way now. The last record, the self-titled Roxy Blue record, I wrote. And, you know, for the most part, Frontiers allowed us to make the record we wanted to make, and I love Frontiers. They my father-in-law, Jimmy Jameson, Survivor fame, may he rest in peace. He was on Frontiers for a while, and they've changed a lot. You know, I was really worried that they weren't going to let us make the kind of record we wanted to make, and they did. Nick Teeter's our A&R guy, and he's like, dude, you're going to package it, you're going to make it the way you want, and just we want to see it when it's done and hear it when it's done. And I was like, okay, cool. So with all that being said, we made this record. And then, of course, as you know, you listen to it, it doesn't sound anything like Once.
Right.
And out of, you know, maybe half a percent, maybe 1%, I don't know, but there was a handful of people, dudes, it had comments, you know. I think they were expecting Want Some too. And it was 27 years later, dude. I can't make that record again. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Like, you know, I mean, you live a life, man. 27 years is a long time. And, you know, of course, I've stayed active in music. I did, you know, I started Saliva as a drummer. I had 714. I went on tour with my father-in-law as a drummer, actually. I had a bunch of things I did. And, you know, I just think that 27 years, life just, and I've said this before in an interview, but it's true, you know, life scars you good and bad. And over 27 years, a lot happened in my life, man. I had kids, got married, stayed rocking and rolling, though, never gave up on that. It's just who I am. But it wasn't about sex, drugs, and rock and roll anymore. You know, I had other things I wanted to write about. There was other things that meant something to me. I actually was living, you know, I had things happening to me in my life. So, but those handful of people, I had a lot of people come to me and write to me saying, man, you should say something about that. You know, you shouldn't let them get away with saying it. I'm like, man, everybody, I actually applaud their opinion. I don't even care, because you can't make everybody like what you do. You just do what you do. If you try to please everybody, you will fall short. There's no way you'll please everybody.
It's impossible.
So, right. So I think after 27 years, I mean, as long as and I think I can speak for everyone in Roxy Blue. First of all, we were glad to be back out playing. You know, they tried to get us back together for a long time. Josh went on to play with Dust for Life. I was out there doing my own thing. I had a bunch of stuff. I had Saliva for a while, then I did 714. Me and Jimmy did 714. Jeff, of course, Sid went off to be a dentist, and we were going to try to get back together and do it, and it just never worked. Just wasn't in the cards. Jeff Cogner, our new guitar player, he's great. He's just 24/7 rock and roll, and he played with Full Devil Jacket, Jazz McCain, Every Mother's Nightmare. I mean, he's just a great guy, and he was a perfect fit. And so we all agree that we didn't want to just do a one-off. You know, we do want some too, and try to do something like from back then, and be something we're not now. We still like playing those songs. It actually took me a minute to enjoy playing those songs again. But the more we started playing, I think our first show we did, well, first of all, I was just going to tell you, we're looking to be in the future. We wanted more people to like us. We didn't want, we wanted our old fans to come back, and, you got to think, our fans grew with us. We all got older. I mean, it's not like we're still playing in the same age group that we were. So, with that being said, I think we were just looking to keep rolling with this stuff. We got to be happy with ourselves. You can't make anybody happy unless you're happy with yourself. So,
exactly.
So we, Jeff getting in the band and doing that, it just opened up a whole new deal with us. We played, what brought Roxy back together, actually, was kind of weird. We're friends with the guys in Tora here in Memphis, and so Patrick had cancer. He had got diagnosed with cancer a few years back, and so I'd gotten asked by somebody if I would, I think a guy named Matt Montgomery, who was organizing the thing for him, would I be interested in doing an acoustic set? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. Well, then I got a call from Patrick, and he's like, dude, I don't want you to do an acoustic set. I want the band to play. I was like, okay. We're not really a band. He's like, well, get everybody back together for me. So everybody couldn't do it. So Jimmy, our drummer, Jimmy, who did the record with me in 714 and did the Roxy record, he played drums. Corey Myers, who plays keyboards for Tom Kiefer, played keys. And then and then Josh did it, of course, and me, and then we needed a guitar player, and Jeff actually reached out to us and said, man, I heard you guys might be doing that. I didn't know if y'all got feedback or not, but if not, I'd love to do it. So he actually came and did the gig and did a rehearsal, and it was awesome, man. I mean, it was like, wow. And I felt it. Wasn't the same Roxy, because it was a bunch of hybrids, but it was cool, man. We had a good time, so I'm thinking, wow, this sounds really good. Well, then we got asked to play about a year later. That kind of fizzled, it was fun, but it was it. Then we got asked to do a show with Bret Michaels at it was an amphitheater in Mississippi, Bank Plus Amphitheater. Very cool place. So we were like, yeah, man, let's get together and do it. Really no talks of really getting back together the band. We didn't really talk about it. We just thought, okay, we'll get, so at that point, Jeff, that whole thing we did before, we just did that for Patrick Francis. We did that for him. He's our friend. We did it, and thank God he's over cancer now, and everything's good. Tor's out playing, and it's awesome. So what had happened is we got asked to do the show with Bret Michaels, and Toro was on the bill, and Every Mother's Nightmare was on the bill. We were asked to be on the bill. So I called everybody and said, you guys want to do it? And me and Wayne Sweeney from Saliva were kind of working on kind of a solo thing for us. It was going to be like Sweeney Poole or whatever we were going to call it. I don't know. And so Wayne, who played with Roxy Blue back in the day after Sid for a short period of time, for a year or so, he wanted to do it. So me and Scotty and Josh and Wayne did the Bret Michaels show. And it was awesome, dude. I mean, we were back. Coldest day in the world. Out of every day, that day was it was just like bone-chilling cold. But it was a great show. So, but while we were, this is the point I'm getting. So while we were in rehearsals for that show, I got a phone call. And I answered the phone, and it was Nick Peter from Frontiers. And he says, dude, I've been trying to call you. I didn't think you would know my number or anything. How would you guys be interested? We just signed to a tour. We were interested in signing you guys. How would you feel about that? And it's funny because we were all sitting there. We were actually sitting where we rehearsed at a bar there. We were all just kind of hanging out and taking a break. And I just looked at everybody and said, hey, man, you guys want to do a record with Frontiers? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. So that's how that came about, man. I mean, we got signed. That's how Roxy kind of got back together. And then, you know, Wayne still played with Saliva. It was like the only existing original member left. And I just had to tell him I had to move on. Just because, man, he's still one of my dearest friends in the world. But I just couldn't do it like, okay, well, when you're not busy, we'll play. So I had to have somebody who's going to be there. And he understood. He didn't like it because he really wanted to do it because he and I were making some really good music together. I said, well, why don't you and I still write some stuff for the record? But, man, I really need to get somebody else in here. And of course, in my head, I'm thinking Jeff because Jeff was he's one of my dearest friends, and he's just really good. And you know, Roxy Blue song, I mean, Sid was a great guitar player, so it ain't, especially on the older stuff, right. You can't anybody just can't walk in there and do it. I mean, it's some hardcore stuff. And anyway, Jeff ended up joining the band, and that's where we're at right now. And we're excited. We made the new record, and yeah, man, and we've been able to play some shows. We've gotten some great response from people. We played Rock Atlanta. It was a great show. We did a show with Warrant, my buddies in Warrant, at a place called The Signal. It's like this huge place in Chattanooga. It was sold out. That was a great show. Mm-hmm. So I think that's when we realized that, yeah, man, I think this is cool. I think we're going to kind of stick this out and make some records, make some people happy, and have a good time doing it.
Yeah, man. And you guys did make a great record, man. And even going back to the original record, Want Some, I mean, good Lord, that was a great record. But this new one's a great rock and roll record too, and it holds up.
Well, I appreciate it, and it is a different record, and I think that's the appreciation more than anything is that I've been getting from people is that, hey, man, you guys evolved and you're doing what you're doing now. I did have a few people say, they really liked it. It did sound like an extension of 714. But the thing is, I do all the writing. Well, the majority of the writing. I mean, everybody in Roxy Blue right now, I've always been surrounded by great talent. And it makes the best out of me when I'm surrounded by great players. I mean, Josh still plays like a beast. Jimmy's a great drummer. We have been using Jimmy a little bit lately. There's talks right now of him being permanent with us. Scotty's had some other things going on. Scotty played with Nelson for a while, and I think that fizzled out for whatever reason. And Scotty does a lot of studio work in Nashville. But we're kind of making some changes right now, and it's sounding really good, and we're excited. And man, I'm just full blown right now, man. I'm just wanting to keep rolling. I don't want anything holding me back. I just want to be able to just go. I mean, life's too short to ponder on anything. You just got to do it while you can do it. And I did get some people, like saying, I really like this record. It sounds like an extension of 714. And that's because I wrote the 714 stuff, and then I wrote this stuff. But I was smart enough when we got signed to Frontiers, I kind of just wiped the slate clean and said, because we had a bunch of tunes that 714 had not recorded yet. And Jimmy's like, man, we should put this one on there. And I'm like, man, you know what I want to do? I want to try to approach this like a Roxy record. Not to mean I want to try to make it sound like, 1992 Want Some. But I think I have to approach it in a different aspect than I did with 714. And I think for the most part we did. So to me, I think the self-titled Roxy Blue record is an introduction of what is to be. The new stuff I'm writing and the new stuff we're working on, to me, is really good. I think that the new record is really gonna. I think we've kind of broken the ice with the last one, so people aren't going to be shocked anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, I really like the Roxy Blue record, and for those who do, and they're like, it's way different than Want Some. It didn't make people not want to go back and listen to Want Some, which is cool, but we still played both records live, and they kind of seem to work because we seem to play them kind of the way we play them. They still work together. But the new record I think it's going to be not so shocking. I think people are going to go, oh yeah, okay, cool, I get it now. And so hopefully, you don't ever know. I know I'm excited about it. So I think we're going to start tracking. Actually, me and Jimmy were talking about it the other day. So, I don't know yet with everything going on. People are afraid to get out of their house and go anywhere. They want to know where you're going sometimes when you're driving off. Why are you going? Where are you going? So martial law, man,
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, for the good part of it, I love to see all these. I'm sure you've seen it. I love to see all the musicians getting online and playing. And I know my buddy Mark Torn from Bullet Boys had something on there, and it just seems like everybody's doing something. I haven't done anything yet. I have had a few people ask me if I'm going to get on there and do it, and it got a little bit crazy for a while. For about a week there, everybody was doing something, so I thought I'd kind of just back off. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm glad I'm doing this with you, man. This is what it's all about to me.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it too, man. I really appreciate it. And
how long you guys been up and running?
Oh man, well we've got 6 episodes out right now. So we're like I said, we're fairly young podcast, but we're gaining some traction awful quick, man. So got some.
I don't think there's any better time to have a podcast than right now.
Yeah.
I think this is where I've done a lot of podcasts. When the new record came out, Frontiers had me set up with podcasts, with radio stations, with everything. I did internet interviews, which are hard to do. You got to write everything. I type everything out like a letter. I did a big one with Japan. I've done Germany. I've done everywhere. It seems like it was just like one day I did 9. I did like 6 Skypes and 3 phones. It seems like I was talking to Anthony Corder from Tora about this. We're really good friends, and man, I was like, dude, man, I can't even breathe. I said, I love it, but it's like my schedule every day is like, okay, dude, you got 9 interviews a day. You got 5 tomorrow. And I'm not griping about it because the other side of the coin is you could have none. So, but it's cool because I think, wasn't really that savvy with podcasts, before. Right. I got a friend of mine, Chris in Nashville. The name of his is, those guys? What's the name of theirs? I got other friends. I think it's, what is it? Killed the radio star, internet killed the radio star, or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I got a bunch of friends that do them in different places. I've gotten to know them because I've done their shows and stuff, and they've been hitting it hard. So, but I think it's a great thing what you're doing. First of all, you're allowing the musicians to get out here and talk shit and talk what they do and let everybody kind of be one-on-one and hear what's going on. And the other thing is you're kind of keeping rock and roll alive, man. And right now with everything going on, I just think people need this, man. They need to tune in. They need to hear this kind of stuff, you know. And it's a lot of positiveness because there's so much negative crap going on right now that I think people are just trying to find something to put a smile on their face. And hopefully this is what this does.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what we're shooting for, man. We like to get you guys on and let you, just kind of have at it, man. Say what you need to say, promote what you need to promote, let everybody know that you guys are still out there doing this. And, and speaking of that,
you and I should get together, man. You should let me, when things kind of clear up a little bit, maybe when we get together and do a rehearsal. We're talking right now about when we're going to get back in the hall and start throwing some stuff out. Maybe it'd be kind of cool if we kind of set something up to where we could maybe play live on your podcast.
Yeah, we could probably do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, just with some acoustics, and just do an acoustic kind of thing where we just kind of, I don't know if do you guys do it where you take calls and stuff?
No, I always record everything and then post it after the fact. But,
I got you. So it wasn't okay. That'd be cool. So you could record it and playing some music and stuff, and then. But I think it's cool what you're doing, man. I really do, and I applaud you for it. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of musicians, man. All you guys doing podcasts and stuff are just creating an outlet for the musicians and for the fans, and I think podcasting has become very, very popular these days, man.
Yeah. And we're up and running on all the major formats, so that people can find us on iTunes and Apple and Google and Spotify and all that stuff. So we're real easy to find.
What's the name of the show?
Metal Bob Live podcast.
Metal Bob Live. Metal Tom Live. Metal Bob Live. What is it? What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Bob. Metal Bob.
Oh, your name. Okay, Metal Bob Live. Okay, well, cool. That's good. Somebody approached me. Actually, they talked to me early this morning, too, from the United Kingdom, wanting me to do my own show on their show. And they were like, well, you can just do your own show, but we want you to do one, and we want to get you kickstarted, and we want to have a segment on our podcast where you have your own segment. And I thought, at first I'm like, I'm pretty busy, man. It does take your time to do this kind of stuff. And I talked to my wife about it, and she's like, oh, Todd, that would be awesome. It'd be cool. You could get your own deal, and you could get on there, and you could play your favorite songs and talk to people and get your musician friends on there and talk a bunch of stuff. And I'm thinking about it, man, so... And then maybe I could tie in with you, and you could have a segment or something with me on it.
Hey, I'd love it, man. It'd be great. It'd be fun.
Man, I'm digging it. I love the fact that you're doing this, and so you've been following me since Want Some.
Yeah, man, I've been a fan since that album. I still own it. I still listen to it on a regular basis. It's it's a great. I've been listening to the new
cool.
one.
We still play. So where in Missouri are you?
I am in Columbia, Collegetown, University of Missouri's here. So we're
I got you.
Probably, I don't know. I want to say 6 hours from Memphis is about how far you.
So you're near Joplin?
We're right in the center, man. We're right between Kansas City and St. Louis. So I'm trying to think. Joplin's south, I believe, from here. So
that's where Sheryl Crow's from.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was going to say we're always looking for new places to play, and so it'd be cool if we could, whenever all this smoke clears, you come to Missouri somewhere near you and rock a show.
That'd be great.
And we still play. I mean, right now we're playing. We still play a good bit off Want Some. We try to, your shows can only be so long, so we kind of minimize it a little bit. We still do Times Are Changing. We actually, man, we weren't going to do Rob the Cradle anymore, man. man, we're all dads, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
at first, I remember we did. We did Rocklanta. And when we did Rocklanta, I remember driving back from Rocklanta, and Amy and I, my wife, we were talking, and our show was great, man. We had a good show, and but me and her just got to talking, and she was telling me how much she enjoyed the show, but she said, I think you guys should reevaluate playing Rob the Cradle. And she never, I brought that up to her like a year ago, or when we first started or whatever, and she's like, oh, Todd, it's just a song, and people like that song. But then a lot's happened in the last year, with a lot going on with that kind of crap, and we're not that way at all, but, you know, as parents, you know, you're saying, I wasn't sure I wanted to drive by the schoolyard in my brand new fancy car anymore, you know. And and so I texted everybody on my way home from Rocklanta. I had plenty of time from Atlanta. And I texted everybody and said, what are your thoughts? Maybe I'm thinking about maybe never doing Rob the Cradle again. And of course, I got text back in 2 or 3 minutes from Josh, all of them, saying, fine. Well, we played the next show, and we weren't going to do the song. And everybody screamed for the song. So we did it. It sounded great. So then we basically sat down and told each other, okay, look, we're going to do the song. We have to. It's a song that people knew us by back in the day. It's just a song. And I said, but I'm not changing the lyrics. You know, like, I know Kip Winger, my buddy John Rolfe plays in Winger, and he's like, I was like, well, how does Kip handle that on 17? He's like, dude, he don't like it. But he's known for that song. It's one of their big songs. So he does the song, and at the end of the song, he changes the age. I'm like, all right. Anyway, we're going to stick with Rob the Cradle. But we do Rob the Cradle, Times Are Changing, Squeeze Box. Sometimes we do Love's Got a Hold on Me, Love on Me. Sometimes we do Rockabye Baby. We've had people want us to do Main Attraction, but we haven't done that live yet because we still try to do as many off the new record as we can.
Absolutely.
And we do a lot off the new record, man. And we try to balance the show between the two records. So, you know, once this new record's done and everything, I don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to have to start playing longer shows, or it gets, because there's so many songs I want to play. Like I love the song Collide on the new record.
Right.
And Josh loves it. But we've been playing Blinders live, and it's going over really good. We can't really play Blinders and Collide and Love on Me and Times Are Changing. I mean, I don't want to have a ballad show, you know, so you got to balance it out. So we're working on some stuff right now. So when we headline shows, we'll probably end up doing a lot. Like, you know, when we open for Warrant, we got an hour. We open for Bret Michaels, we got an hour. I think we got 50 or 55 minutes of Warrant. We got an hour with Bret Michaels. So when we open for bands, a lot of times you usually you get anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how many bands are on the bill. So a lot of times on these festivals, when you go play them, you're only getting, you know, you might get 40 minutes. Sometimes you might get 50, depending on where you're slotted. So it's rough. But, you know, hey, man, we're out here playing music, and I'm 55 years old, man, and I don't usually like to tell anybody how old I am because most people don't. They look at me and they have no idea I'm even close to that, and I'm okay with that. But, man, I'm glad to be out here playing rock and roll. I'm glad to be able to be on this program with you right now and talking rock and roll because Lord knows how many times have you heard people say rock's dead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've heard it 100,000 times, man. It ain't going nowhere. Rock and roll will live forever.
It's alive and well, man.
So who are some of your favorite iconic bands that you listen to? Let me ask you a few questions.
Well, you know,
Hey, Bob, look, I say that to you like you've asked me a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I have a tendency, I pull Ted Nugent's on people all the time because my friend that passed away, Zeke Logan, who was on the radio, big radio station here in Memphis. I did an interview with him when Roxy first came out. He broke Roxy Blue on the radio, and he did an interview with me. And when we got done, he says, "Dude, that's the worst interview I've ever done in my life. You're horrible. Take this cassette tape home, listen to it, bring it back to me, and in about a month, we're going to do another radio interview." So I brought it back to him. It was Ted Nugent. He asked Ted Nugent one question and never spoke. And I think I took that to the extreme, but most people say, "Man, you pretty much answered every question I was going to ask you." So,
yeah, you're making my job easy, man. I love it.
yeah, well, you know, that's the way it's supposed to be, man. You're just supposed to say hello, and then I'll go for it. So let me ask you again: who are your bands, man? You know, like your music. Who's your go-to iconic bands?
Well, I mean, the band that I've probably seen play live the most is considered one of my top favorites is L.A. Guns, man. I've seen them 50 times live. Big L.A. Guns fan.
L.A. Guns, really?
Yep. I'm a huge Paul Thorne fan. I hope you're familiar with Paul Thorne.
Really?
Love Paul Thorne, man. Yep. I'm kind of all over the
Guns,
place.
They're talking about Brad Lee, our manager. He actually does the Ballroom Blitz show. That's his show.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who put Rocklanta together. He told me the other day on the phone that Last in Line is not going to be able to do the new rescheduled Ballroom Blitz show, and that he is talking to L.A. Guns about doing that.
Oh, nice.
So that would be L.A. Guns, Tor, and us to be the three at the top on the. Well, I say at the top, but the headliner bands on the Saturday night. I hate the word headliner bands, but whatever. It's just we're the last three bands to play that night, which is kind of cool. So
actually, Tora was
that's kind of cool, man. I like L.A. Guns, man. They got a good street vibe to them, you know.
Yeah, you know they always had that real raw sound to them too, which I really liked a lot. You know, they get that dirty raw, you know, rock and roll, crunchy guitar stuff. You know.
So which one do you like now?
I'm sorry?
Which one do you like now? There's two of them.
Oh, I got to go with Tracy and Phil, man. That's the
You got to go with Tracy and Phil. You have to.
That's the sound, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, without those, you know, I'm so glad that Tracy got back with them. You know, I saw him. I saw it Rock and Skull. I played Rock and Skull, and they were. That was I believe that was Tracy's first time back with them, and that guy's really good, man. He's got a good vibe to him, and he was really cool too. I talked to him for a little bit. He was just like a down to earth, just cool guy.
I remember the first time I'd seen L.A. Guns, Tora was actually on that bill. It was Tora and Dangerous Toys and L.A. Guns. This is probably
right.
Or 90.
Yeah, you know, Dangerous is out there still again. They're out playing again too.
Yeah, they're a great band too.
Yeah. It just seems like everybody's kind of getting back in the saddle a little bit, man, and that makes you feel good, man. I think that the Seattle scene thing. You know, I don't knock that because I actually like that music, so I can't really knock it. But, man, in seeing that, you know, freaking Nirvana came out they were on DGC, which is David Geffen Company, which is a sister company of Geffen. I mean, I heard their demos before they even came out, man. One of my A&R guys played it for me in a car. And it blew me away. I'm out there making our record. I'm making one song. He's like, "Man, let me play this new thing Gary Gross just signed." Oh, okay, cool. Let me hear it. And he punches in a cassette of freaking, and the CDs were just coming, but he had a cassette. He's like, "Here's a cassette," and he plays It Smells Like Teen Spirit. And man, dude, it blew me away. But I think that whole thing, and this is no surprise to anyone, but that whole movement which I do believe needed to happen for whatever reason. I think things were getting kind of saturated in the rock world. Everybody started sounding the same, and nobody was being original anymore. But for whatever reason, it happened, and it just really floored a lot of bands that had been putting their whole life and their whole world was revolved around what they knew, and that was making records and touring. And then all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, nobody wants us anymore. We're not popular anymore. We're not wearing a flannel. We're screwed. And so it's good to see those bands I think everybody kind of got floored for a while. You know, the record companies especially after the Seattle scene was kind of dwindled out too, man. Time takes care of everybody, you know. So after that happened, what they called quote unquote hair bands was gone. I mean, dude, I remember hanging out with Janie. Janie Lane actually discovered Roxy Blue. So I remember being at his house in LA. He went to the record company. He had to go by the record company that morning, and he and I had been out drinking all night. I was fucking hungover. I'm hanging out. He comes back home. He's like, dude. And he was throwing shit around. He was pissed off. Went straight to his refrigerator, and he kept his Marlboro lights in the refrigerator. And grabbed him a cigarette. He was like, dude, I just went around the record company, and I think he left. I want to say the first time it happened, it was in New York. But when he was in L.A., he said when he came back, he was all pissed off because they weren't a number one priority anymore. And Alice in Chains was. And I think that's when it really dawned on him. And man, that guy, I will say one thing about him, rest in peace, but man, that guy was a great songwriter, man.
Absolutely, he was. Yes.
I had never in my life, man, dude, I would drink with him. I would drink 1800 Cuervo with him. He always kept in the freezer. I hate to say that he taught me how to drink, but he did. But man, I would see triple vision, dude, and he'd be sitting there playing a song just fucking awesome. Write a song. We'd sit down and play together. But I just think that whole movement, it's good to see that whole movement got demolished. And then the Seattle scene kind of dwindled out. And the reason that did is because all the record companies dwindled out. Internet took over. And, you know, I'm not really, you can get mad about it, but you ain't going to change it. I mean, life is what it is. So the days of people coming out and seeing you, I'm talking about big record companies like back in the day, you know, walking in, seeing you play, loving you, flying you out to LA or New York or whatever, signing you and changing your life. Those days were kind of gone, man. It was kind of like, hey, man, you know, let's see how many hits you got on, you know, your page and all that kind of crap. So the blood, sweat, and tears and the dirt you were wiping off, you know, off your body from the bar from the night before, you know, it don't mean as much because you didn't care doing it back then because there was something to live for. And then now, you know, a record company ain't coming in there. More than likely, they want to see how many hits you got and all that kind of stuff. So I think after all that's kind of just blown over, it's just really good to just look around. And, you know, we would play some festivals and stuff, and to look around and see all the bands that I've really loved, man, and, you know, looked up to and everything that are back. And they're playing. And it's like, they never forgot about what they were doing. I think they just had to take a break and get away for a minute. And then they realized, wow, man, this is really the only thing I know how to do now. They're back. But the best thing is when you look out in the crowd, or you go out in the crowd, and everybody out there is having a fucking great time, dude. I mean, they're having a great time, and you're just going, you just don't want to be anywhere else.
Right.
So you have to ask yourself, why did it all change? And these people, they haven't changed. These people didn't want rock and roll going anywhere. They loved what they were doing then, and they're loving it's back. So somebody that called themselves, I guess, the the grand master up there is pushing buttons and telling everybody what was cool today and what's not going to be cool to, what's not cool today, and this is what you need to listen to. So it's nuts, and it did put a little, it just hurt all of us a little bit. Roxy never really made it to the stature of some of those bands. Bands like, even Motley Crue, man. They're iconic, man, but I'll never forget when Tommy Lee announced we were playing the Troubadour in Los Angeles for Westwood One, and with Shotgun Messiah was actually on that bill. And I remember Tommy Lee making the announcement that Roxy Blue was going to go on tour with Motley Crue. And we've been holding out for that, man. We've been waiting, and Doug said, good things are getting ready to happen, our manager, Doug Thaler. So we were going to go on tour with them, and Karabi was with them. So it was going to be their big thing, their new thing with Hooligans Holiday and all that. And we were excited, and we knew we'd be playing huge arenas, and we were just blown away. And then within 2 weeks, that was gone. Over. Never happened. Man, if you could believe this, there was a time Motley Crue was not going to be able to play arenas. Nobody was going to go see them. Because I think I would just take a guess. It was because the Seattle scene was so big that nobody really cared about those bands. And then now everybody's kind of back on that wagon again. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, if that tour, if it goes off like it's supposed to, it's already sold hundreds of thousands of tickets.
Oh yeah, well yeah. These days, well. Molly's going to move to the iconic stage now, but I think it's kind of weird that even an iconic band like that, even at that point, they'd already done Dr. Feelgood, which was their greatest selling record, and I was right there in the middle of it, man. They managed us, so it was Motley Crue and us, and then it was Top Rock Management, and they ended up picking up Winger while we were out there. But man, it's like to see a band like that go, well, hey man, we got to cancel our tour because we're going to end up playing like just theaters now, like smaller theaters. And I'm like, but it just happened for a period of time, and then all of a sudden they came back and did the big tour. And well, I want to say it was Decade of Decadence or whatever they did after that. Then they did the tour. They called it their final show.
Right.
Everybody got pissed off because they promised they wasn't going to come back, and no amount of money could make them come back, and now they were back. So what? Who cares? Why would you be mad about that, man? Who cares, man? That's what they want to do. And I think people were like, it's a money scheme. But, man, whatever it is, man, at least you still got them out there to go see, And I don't ever want to see bands like that go away.
And neither do I, man.
Dude, every time a big band goes away, it just makes you feel a little bit like everything's coming to an end.
I seen the farewell tour, and I was really happy with the way it ended. If it was going to end, I was great with it. They definitely put their mark on the industry, no doubt about that.
Where did you see them at?
I seen them on that farewell tour in Moline, Illinois.
Yeah, man, I didn't see it. I didn't go to it. I wanted to, man. I wasn't never. It's weird. I was never a Motley fan, growing up. And then once honestly, I played. I was in a band when I was younger, and we played some stuff off of Shout at the Devil, and I liked it. I was playing drums at the time, and I really kind of liked playing it. But I was never like a huge fan, and I had friends that were. And then, of course, Theater of Pain, Girls, Girls, Girls. I liked that record kind of. Theater of Pain didn't do much for me. I was in another band called TNA. We played a few things off of Theater of Pain. But still, it's just never over the top until Dr. Feelgood, and when I was out and we signed to Cop Rock, and I got to meet and kind of got to know, especially Tommy and Nikki. Mick and Vince, I've met Vince several times, but great guy, but never Mick. I never met Mick. But Tommy and Nikki met, hung out with many times. Great guys. Made me like what they do more, knowing who they are. And then, of course, I thought Dr. Feelgood, I thought that record, Bob Rock did a great job with that record. I thought it was huge sounding. And, of course, to me, I think the record with the Hooligan Holiday on it with Karabi.
Right.
It's a great record.
Oh, it is. It's no doubt.
It really is, man. Whoa. It's a different record.
Yeah, it's different, but it's no doubt. It's still a great record.
It really is. I love that record. And so, I'm glad to see everybody's back out there playing. For whatever reason, it just feels good. I hate that this is happening to the world today, not just on a music standpoint, but just in general. I actually hate that. Are you a father?
Yes. Yep,
you are. I am too. So that's probably what I hate most about it, that our kids are having to kind of, it's not really about what we're having to witness here. It's just our kids, man. It's like it's almost putting a halt on their. My little girl's 13. My son's 25, but my little girl's 13, and it's how strange is it, for them to go, what? What do you mean I can't go do this? I can't do anything. It's really strange. So, but we'll get over all this. I think I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed that people are really a lot kinder from what I've seen around here. It seems like people are nicer.
It does seem that way. I think everybody at first wasn't taking it real serious. Now it's kind of like, whoa, wait a minute. We need to step back. And
I agree with you. 100%. I'll be honest with you. When it first happened, I wasn't taking it that serious for the first week or so. And I work on houses when I'm not playing music, and I have to maintain my car's house and everything else that I've, rock and roll did give me a little bit, but I have to work. So I work on houses, and I'm lucky because for the most part, I'm able to still do what I do. But the last week, I did notice that, even at new houses that builders didn't want, nobody wanted you in their house unless you're wearing a mask. And then each day it got a little bit weirder and weirder. Like I told you this morning, and like you were saying too, you go to the grocery store and everybody's wearing a mask, and it just, you kind of, if you take a step back and really kind of think about it for a minute, you're just like, whoa, this is weird, man. This is like living in Bizarro world or something.
Right. It's real though, man. It's very real. And I'm just like, at first I was the same way at first too. I'm like, come on, man, really? And then it just kept getting worse and worse. And I'm like, okay, it's time to rethink this whole thing and do our part.
Yeah. And that's smart. It's just smart. It's like I told my wife, it's like, no matter what's going on, it's just best it's only smart to just, be cautious about everything, why not? If you got to play the game, play the game. If it's going to save your life or save your family's life or just keep people from being sick or whatever, do it. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. The faster we all, get this together and get a grip on it, the faster we can all get back to some normalcy, hopefully. So,
yeah.
So, hey man, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you at on the internet there? Or?
Yeah. Well, actually, ours is really easy, man. If you just go to you can go to our Facebook page, Roxy Blue. Go to our Facebook page. If you can look at Roxy Blue or Roxy Blue Band or whatever, take you to our Facebook page. And all of our links are listed on our Facebook page. You can find us on everything. You can get our record on pretty much every site there is. Amazon, you name it, it's on there. So I'd love for everybody to go pick up our new record. Especially in this downtime we're having. It's a great listen, even if you're in your car just cruising out in the countryside or whatever. It's a cool record to listen to. And, you know, if you're passing the time at the house and just tired of hearing everybody yap and stuff, it's a great record to put headphones on and crank up and kind of shut out the outside world. So, yeah, man. And we have got a couple new videos that we did that are on YouTube. Rockstar Junkie and How Does It Feel? So go check those out, and as soon as this coronavirus thing lightens up, and hopefully everybody stays safe out there and just play it safe, do the right thing, keep your family safe. Hopefully you'll see Roxy Blue in a town near you or in your town real soon. So we're looking forward to getting out there and hanging out with everybody and putting some positive vibes out there. And, man, I do want to thank you for having me on your show, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. I'd love to have you back on, Todd, man. You were great, man. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day for me as well.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate everything, and I'm only a phone call away. Stay in touch with me, brother.
I'll do that, buddy, man. We'll do that from time to time. I'll check in on you. That concludes today's episode of the Metal Bob Live podcast. Please check our webpage for sponsor links and the latest Metal Bob gear. And thank you for listening. Metal Bob out.